teams, but Iomero was able to lose that first series, able to gather some information, and it's still another best of 5 in the grand finals.
We have essentially reset the dinner table. We are ready to sit down and have a full course of a best of 5 series on our hands. But I want to point out as well, we saw King IV versus Trent. Trent did fight against Iomero previously. Trent made adjustments. He made the road very hard for King IV in that losers bracket finals. Will Iomero do the same?
Yeah, it's hard because mentally, you know, you just lost 3-0. So how do you bounce back, shake that off, and just treat it like a brand new series? Because it is now 0-0. Any trainer has a chance of winning it.
Absolutely. This is a best of 5. If you have enjoyed the Indianapolis Regional Championships, let us know in the chat, in social, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you might be. I have had so much fun at this event, and I have 100% absolutely enjoyed myself.
100% agree. It's absolutely been so much fun. And here we are in the grand finals, the last series here, Iomero versus King IV. I want to point out something that I noticed. Although these teams are very similar, I do think King IV has a slight advantage against the Walrein. And I'm going to talk about 2 matchups that I think has a slight advantage in. And that's that Sableye matchup, which Sableye has been so prevalent all tournament, but especially in this matchup, it is very, very good. And the thing that's a little bit different, it threatens the Registeel differently. Because of that 20% damage bonus to Earthquake, you can almost threaten a knockout on Registeel. And here we are, game number 1 in these grand finals. And it is the Trevenant versus Sableye. King just calling every lead.
This is the biggest stage in Indianapolis, and these 2 trainers are kicking things off. The ghost types are on the field, but Sableye strikes first.
Wow, just calling everything, and Iomero deciding to just stay in with the Trevenant here, protect shielding the foul play, and having to go for the Shadow Ball. And the key difference here is you're taking super effective Shadow Claws and the no shield, trying to call the bait, maybe?
Look at the instincts here. Takes that Shadow Ball, and Sableye gets Shadow Clawed all the way through. It cost him a Protect Shield to a Butters, but Iomero one switch.
But the thing is, I think Iomero's going to get this Protect Shield back, right? Because you're going to throw the Seed Bomb, and it is going to get Protect Shielded. And like I was mentioning earlier, Shadow Walrein does have some more play, and it's going to hit those exact 2 targets I was talking about.
No, you couldn't have been more on the money. We see the Walrein now match up against the Sableye, but it's a few Powder Snows ahead, which is even more problematic for the Dark and Ghost type.
Yes, in the Sableye dimensions, it could probably take 2 Icicle Spears, takes that first one, but is threatened by the next one. And guess what? The next one's here already.
Blink and you'll miss it. Shadow Walrein again trying to wreak havoc on this team for Iomero. Sableye needs to protect itself from that Icicle Spear.
But this Sableye's cornered. It's going to get to this foul play, but the thing is it going to be able to get farmed down? This is going to be a choice from King IV. Is it going to try to Powder Snow down, or will have to commit the Icicle Spear?
Both battlers measuring their play, knowing their win conditions. The Icicle Spear comes through here, rapid fire, and Walrein will get the better of the Sableye.
Sableye does faint here in this game number 1. There is a Registeel. There is a little bit health Trevenant. The interesting thing, could you get to a move against Medicham with that little health on Trevenant?
That's a great question. I would like to see the... Oh, and we do see the Registeel come in. The counter swap, though, into Medicham. This is such a tough position for Iomero to be. What does he decide to do?
But this is a fighting type versus a steel type. You would think this is a dominant matchup for Medicham, but actually, in the 0 Protect Shields, Registeel can take this one.
Registeel so impressive with that Zap Cannon as the first one goes through. It shreds through that fighting and Psychic type Medicham, and we do see Medicham try to return fire, but this charge attack will not have the same effect as the Zap Cannon.
It will not. It is going to be resisted. It is debuffed. This Registeel takes it no problem, but the thing is that Walrein's kind of healthy. If you ever put this Registeel in another move, an Ice Punch is going to be landing onto the Registeel.
We saw Iomero tapping on the side of the screen, reaching for his Trevenant, trying to catch the Ice Punch, goes for the Trevenant now. Can he get his Shadow Claw down? This is such a bold play.
Yes, trying to get to that Seed Bomb to knock out the Medicham does it. And this Seed Bomb is going to be able to take out the Medicham here. This Trevenant barely holds on to take it out. And look, the Walrein is going to be coming back. It needs to get to an Icicle Spear. It needs to get to an Icicle Spear before the Registeel gets to a move.
Here comes the Shadow Walrein. It's a question of pacing. Oh no! Iomero, Focus Blast!
Iomero banks it, unleashes it, and knocks out the Walrein to take his first point in 2 series. 1-0 Iomero.
Iomero taking that first step forward, putting King in his rearview mirror. Can he continue to widen the gap in this matchup, or can King bridge the distance?
And one key factor in that game was the Trevenant, so low health, able to make an impact, right? That Trevenant was left with about 10% health left, but since it was sitting there and it's able to double resist the counters of the Medicham, it's still able to be impactful. It was able to take out the Medicham at such a negative position and use that to the advantage, able to bank that Focus Blast to use it for later against the Walrein while leaving the Trevenant low enough so you can't get extra energy.
As this series continues to evolve, it's interesting to see what these trainers do to respond. We've seen both of them committed to the Medicham, recognizing the super effective counter is so useful, in particular against that Walrein, but I think the Ghost types have so much merit still, and so much neutral play, and like you mentioned, if Medicham is caught in a bad matchup, it can be abysmal, it can really put you behind.
Yeah, it can swing the entire momentum of the game if you ever line up that Medicham into the Ghost, because that Ghost can typically beat the Medicham and get momentum for the next matchup. And energy on either of these Ghosts are insanely impactful. One MVP so far kind of has been the Walrein as well. We're seeing a lot of Walrein, a lot of Registeel action. Maybe that's why all the Medicham as well.
Perhaps as we head into game 2 here, let's see what we get on the field. It looks like a Sableye there from Iomero versus King IV's Registeel.
And we finally get somewhat of a neutral matchup here. The Registeel is going to be against the lead Sableye and get to that foul play before it can take a Zap Cannon.
Here comes the foul play again. You want to throw these charge attacks before those Zap Cannons come through, because then you take that attack drop and you're not as effective.
Yes, and the Zap Cannon is finally going to go through. This is going to be able to debuff the Sableye. It's going to be interesting to see if Iomero wants to clear this debuff and save the Sableye for later, because as we've seen, a low health Sableye can still be very impactful later in the game.
I just want to point out, Medicham again on the bench for one of these trainers, but not lined up against the Pokemon it wants to see. We do see Sableye throwing another foul play.
Yeah, and sometimes even when it's lined up against Registeel, sometimes it's been taking L's as well. So now the Sableye is just staying in here and just trying to get to another move. The Focus Blast does come out for King IV. King IV just trying to stay in these matchups, just trying to go for a little bit of alignment here.
We do see the Focus Blast come through here, resisted damage or not, that is more than enough to take down the Sableye. The instant swap, counter swap, Medicham, Sableye, Walrein.
And once again, you mentioned the double Ghost in the back, and that Medicham just has no target, nowhere to go, and this Icicle Spear is going to be pressuring the Sableye, but it's not Shadow, it's not pressuring just as much.
As you mentioned just at the head of this matchup, that Walrein without the Shadow bonus cannot really pressure the Sableye in the same way. King IV building up over the return, deciding to go for a charge attack here. Let's see if he gets a Protect Shield.
Yeah, very smart to build to return energy before throwing. Maybe the reason that he got a Protect Shield right there.
Oh, that's such a great call. The return would have been devastating for the Walrein. We do see the Icicle Spear and a shield come up from King IV as well, recognizing that the Sableye is within KO range.
Yes, definitely within KO range, and this Walrein does not have any energy left, so you're going to try to get to return energy again, and no, one Shadow Claw before, so maybe the Walrein, no, actually double Protect Shield from Iomero.
The pressure is on. These late game counts are so tricky to keep track of, and we do see Iomero shielding a foul play, which it could have potentially survived, but no, he's giving King too much ground, and the foul play comes through again.
Oh my goodness, maybe a little bit greedy there. This Walrein is going to be able to survive and bank that energy and swap out into the Medicham, and it's going to be able to farm down this Registeel, but it's going to have a rude awakening with what's in the back.
Yes, who's on the field again? It's Trevenant versus the Medicham. As we saw those counter swaps, things are just working out for King IV in this match.
And almost every Medicham runs Ice Punch specifically for this matchup, because look, it is super effective and can do about half the damage of the Trevenant. The Trevenant's gonna try to go for charge move priority. It is gonna go for charge move priority, and it is gonna be able to land the Shadow Ball.
We've seen this 3 times in the finals, and it's the same result every time, but Walrein is not done yet. It's got lots of energy stored.
Oh, but it's got 2. It's got 2 Icicle Spears. It's got 2 Icicle Spears of energy. This is going to come off to a fast move battle in the back line, because this Trevenant is just going to have to sit here. It's just going to have to take this Icicle Spear. It's going to be Powder Snow versus Shadow Claw.
King IV's hands are off the phone. Does he know he still has his Sableye? Comes in with his last Pokemon. Can Sableye pull it off? No! Iomero 2-0.
Wow, the tides have turned here in this next series. Iomero has now won 2 games, and that Walrein was able to Powder Snow the Sableye, banking that energy, actually being a little more greedy with that Sableye matchup really worked out in the end.
The pressure is on King IV. Iomero up 2-0 in the series. In a best-of-5 bout, Iomero needs this one last victory to become our champion. He's just 4.5 minutes away in terms of gameplay.
And Iomero's trying to make me look foolish that Shadow Wall Rain's better, because that Wall Rain that does not take 20% more damage was able to take that foul play, bank 2 Icicle Spears of energy, and use it later versus the Trevenant and Powder Snow the Sableye down as well. Precision by Iomero.
Precision and calculated. King IV needs to win 3 straight. Let's see if Iomero closes it out or if King mounts a comeback.
He's done it before. He's won 3 in a row last series. Here we are in a decisive game number 3. King IV needs to win to stay on. Iomero looking to win the grand finals.
We do see an attempted switch out there by King IV, but it's not triggered. Instead, the Wall Rain from Iomero will use an Icicle Spear.
The Icicle Spear hits the Sableye here. And the Sableye is going to try to get to return energy once again. King always going for the higher energy moves and actually is going to be throwing the return.
This is such a gamble, such a roll of the dice, and Iomero says, no way, I'm going to shield that return up right away.
Wow, that is a huge call. Trying to swap, maybe trying to catch an Icicle Spear there. Doesn't happen. Going to have to catch an Earthquake instead.
Now this is a critical call for King IV. Does he recognize this is an Earthquake, or does he shield a potential bait? Deciding to shield the Earthquake, staying alive.
Last second shield, we see a swap out on Iomero's side. The Sableye is in this matchup now, but this Wall Rain has a ton of energy and it's gonna put a lot of pressure on.
Just like in a race, you do not want to give anyone a head start, and Wall Rain is way out in the lead in terms of energy, and it's got another Icicle Spear, but Sableye is going to strike.
Yeah, actually doesn't go for the second Icicle Spear right when King had it, deciding to save that energy, and the foul play is protected up. How much extra energy are you going to try to get here before you throw?
These trainers know the energy pacing. They know when a Pokemon will reach a charge attack, and King IV getting some extra energy before he decides to throw a decisive Icicle Spear.
And Sableye knows that there's 2 Icicle Spears awaiting, so there's no reason to protect shield there. And here comes the Wall Rain once again to try to soak this damage, to try to soak this Earthquake. And this is gonna be one of the biggest bait calls of the series.
What a bluff! King IV's poker face is unbreakable, and he does get that final shield from Iomero. Now both of the Wall Rains are building to energy, and no! The move! Here comes the Sableye and a counter swap into Registeel.
It looked like Iomero was clicking on the Earthquake, but it didn't quite go through. And now this Sableye is going to be unleashing the foul plays onto this Registeel.
This could be a decisive battle again. Both of these trainers are at the edge of their seats. It looks like Registeel is going to try to build up to a Zap Cannon, but can Sableye outpace? No! Going for the Focus Blast.
But once again, this robot is in a clunky situation because it has to throw all of this energy to take out the remaining health on the Sableye, and does so. There is energy left for King IV. There is a full health Registeel as well for his tournament life.
Taking all of these 10 seconds to think about the next move, coming in with the Shadow Wall Rain, gonna overcharge. Look at the awareness here, throwing the Earthquake. I think this is more than enough to KO the Registeel.
Yeah, knowing this shiny Registeel is switch locked, you want to get as much energy as you can for the next matchup. We know an Earthquake is banked here from Iomero, but you need the Earthquake. Going for the Icicle Spear, actually. Trying to maybe go for an Icicle Spear, get back to the timer and swap?
This is an Icicle Spear at this juncture in the battle. I'm a bit puzzled by it, but let's see what happens. We do see, trying to gain up extra energy and throwing the Earthquake as well. This is an interesting decision here by Iomero.
Yeah, maybe not ideal. You would probably want to throw the Earthquake instead of the Icicle Spear, but throwing that sooner, and then now the Registeel comes out, and this Registeel is just looking at this Wall Rain and just waiting to get to that Focus Blast.
It's trying to get there, but Wall Rain will strike first. Going to throw an Earthquake. We've seen this matchup before. We know Registeel can withstand one of these super effective Earthquakes, and it does. It rocks, but it does not fall over. Here comes the Focus Blast. King IV striking back.
And one of the most impactful Pokemon in that last series for King takes out the Wall Rain and puts a point on the board in game number 3. It's now 2-1 and a little momentum switch.
King IV in the back mirror here for Iomero. Objects in the mirror closer than they appear. King IV with 1 victory. Iomero still in the lead. Remember though, Iomero just needs to close out 1 more game to secure the championship. King IV needs 2.
Yes, and we see as these series are progressing, the game is becoming a little more fluid. We're seeing a lot more wall rain Registeel. We're seeing a little bit more banking energy swapping out. We're almost always seeing Sableye, wall rain Registeel. We're going to see if we see any Medicham come back to try to counter that, and if we're going to see that double ghost line once again. And this is, once again, fighting for the grand finals. One win for Iomero takes it, and King needs 2 more, and here we are in game number 4.
We are back. Sableye is back on the field versus the Registeel. Let's get some energy in the chat. Let's get some messages flowing. This is so hype, and thank you so much for watching Indianapolis this weekend. We do see a foul play from Sableye.
Very similar teams once again. The Sableye versus Registeel matchup. We've seen this play out. Registeel wants to go for these Zap Cannons, wants to debuff this Sableye.
We do see the Zap Cannon come through here as expected, as it feels like it should be. And we see the Sableye no shield, takes a lot of damage there, and the switch out into the Trevenant.
And becoming more fluid of a game, not caring as much about alignment, and just throwing this Seed Bomb into the wall rain here. Did this wall rain enter fast enough? I can't believe it. No Protect Shield.
No Protect Shield, super effective damage. Wall rain dips down into the yellow, and one more Shadow Claw takes it down into the red in terms of HP. Wall rain will try to strike back with an Icicle Spear, but Iomero's Trevenant has the advantage.
This was an interesting call by King IV, knowing that there's 2 answers to this Trevenant in the back, knowing you have the wall rain and the Sableye, deciding to just let the wall rain go and probably trying to go for a Sableye farm down, but this Trevenant has loaded up on a bunch of energy.
This is tough. Still 2 Protect Shields though for King IV. He can save himself for some of these harder hitting charge attacks. Coming in with the Sableye, we've seen this Pokemon be so flexible. Now this is a critical call, and King IV shields immediately.
That was one of the biggest calls of this grand finals, to properly Protect Shield that Shadow Ball. Now do you get the farm down before the Seed Bomb? He does!
King IV is not done yet. Sableye standing strong with a lot of HP versus its opponent in a potential mirror match here in a moment.
And look, that Sableye is quite low, and King IV's Sableye is out of range of any charge move, and this foul plays are at 2, swapping out with that energy, trying to catch a move on Registeel, doesn't quite get it.
Now we do see a critical decision here. Iomero again testing King IV's will. Will he buckle? Will he break? King IV shields!
Wow! Icicle Spear and a swap out here to the Sableye, and they have to throw the energy because the Sableye at such low health is still a threat. Have to throw the Focus Blast to knock it out.
This is still an interesting position to be in. Sableye now off the field. Walrein with energy and a Protect Shield, but Sableye has energy in the back.
This is so scary for the Registeel, throwing maybe a little bit early, but throwing this Earthquake, which is more than enough to send this Registeel back to its Pokeball.
And we do see Registeel faint off the field. Sableye comes in. This is King IV's last chance, last opportunity. Will he seize the moment? He throws a charge attack. Iomero, no shields!
Once again, going for the return, going for the big damage. Walrein is able to take it, but at what cost? It takes so much damage. It's got to get farmed down. It needs to get to 2 Icicle Spears.
Sableye reaches the foul play. This might be a shield kill situation. Let's see if Walrein can withstand this onslaught.
Does it have more than 1 health? I don't know. Is it going to be able to survive? It does. It is going to be able to throw this Icicle Spear, but once again, this is not a Shadow Walrein. It's not going to be quite enough.
Sableye claws through the Walrein. We are tied up in the grand finals.
It doesn't get any bigger than this. It is 2-2 in the grand finals.
We are on our feet. We are screaming at the top of our lungs. I hope you're enjoying this because this is a show.
My goodness, we could not have asked for a better grand finals here at Pokemon Go Regionals in North America debut. It is 2-2, Iomero versus King IV.
2-2. This is essentially one single battle. This is the next 4 minutes decide a champion, and this is the biggest stage in North America this weekend. My goodness, can you imagine the pressure that these two trainers are under?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, they've been playing so many games, but yes, this is the decisive one. There isn't a bigger moment. It's a ton of pressure, but the composure from these two trainers out here today, and I think in that last game, King IV just devoted everything to that Sableye, which he has done so many times in this tournament. And once again, it just had just enough. And here we are in the decisive game number 5.
Get out of your seats and on your feet. We see the ghost types in the lead, and we see the swap out. Now we have Shadow Walrein versus Sableye.
It was a good lead for King IV, so Iomero had to make that safe swap. Was able to get a couple Shadow Claws of energy lead onto the Shadow Walrein, but like I mentioned, the Shadow Walrein has a bit better of a matchup versus Sableye.
Deciding to protect itself early on, recognizing Shadow Walrein's prominence in this matchup, does decide to throw an Icicle Spear here. Sableye won't quite get KO, but it will get dangerously low.
Is out of range of the Icicle Spear, but like you said, and another, a back-to-back. It actually does force the Protect Shield from Iomero.
King IV's 1-2 punch does not secure a knockout, but it does grab that first Protect Shield away, and we do see Sableye returning here with a foul play. King IV deciding to shield. We've seen this before, Butters. I think Walrein is going to try to devour Sableye with Powder Snow.
Yeah, my goodness, King IV valuing the Walrein, valuing its energy, valuing its ability to farm down with Powder Snow, and this energy is going to go a lot of places. This Trevenant doesn't like to see it. The Registeel does not like to see it either.
Shadow Walrein poised and ready for the next opponent. Here comes that Registeel. It's already got so much energy. This is such a critical shield call for Iomero. What does he do?
My goodness, like we mentioned before, the Shadow Earthquake adds up, and so Iomero is forced to Protect Shield.
Iomero keeping that Registeel very healthy. What a great shield call. When does he deploy this charge attack, though? He has to recognize Walrein is building to another Earthquake.
Oh my goodness, the precision, the timing, the throw right before that Earthquake. Making sure that was as efficient as possible while knocking out the Walrein.
Wow, great play, great execution. Here comes the Registeel mirror match. Iomero's is a little bit behind in terms of HP, but it's up on energy, so it gets to the Focus Blast first.
Yes, we'll get to the Focus Blast first, but Registeel is out of range of the Focus Blast, and this might come down to the back line matchup. So how do you position your back Pokemon to succeed?
That's the big question. We see the swap out trying to catch a Focus Blast, doesn't get it. Counter swap, and it's Sableye, and these Pokemon are racing.
It was simultaneous, and this Sableye is able to get to there first. This Trevenant has no Protect Shields. King IV is going to be able to knock it out.
Trevenant faints. Registeel comes back onto the field. It's quite healthy. It's still got a lot of fight left. Let's see which Pokemon gets to the move first. It will be the Sableye.
Iomero and his Registeel not only has to take out this Sableye, but the Registeel in the back to try to win the grand finals here. King IV throws that foul play. It is charge move priority, so this Zap Cannon is coming through.
2 charge attacks. That is the recipe for success. Actually undercharging the Zap Cannon, looking for a full lock-on down. Is this the recipe for success? Iomero trying to get there.
Oh my goodness, what a good undercharge.
Oh no! King IV!
He gets to the foul play, and he's gonna be able to take it. King IV is your grand finals champion.
King IV winning in Indianapolis in a stunning comeback, down 0-2, back against the wall, all the pressure on his shoulders, and a 3-0 sweep to get the victory.
And you see a handshake and little hug from both of those trainers. What a hard-fought series. Oh no, oh, great recovery once again, able to pick up the chair as well. Hope he's okay over there, he's looking good. But
King IV is a seasoned competitor. If you notice on the screen, the chair is turned away from him. We saw King IV a little bit of trouble getting out of his seat earlier. He knows, he learns from opportunities and situations, and we saw him adjust. It's the minor things. It's how these trainers carry themselves. They're so composed, they're so educated, they're so experienced, and we see that on display here.
And you were talking about the pendulum, right? That was a 3-0, a 2-0, and then a 3-0 to take the grand finals. It is King IV. I know, a fan favorite, maybe a favorite of all you watching on Twitch or YouTube. This is the best stage for Pokemon Go PvP.
Making history here. King IV will be with us in just a moment to talk about his victory, so don't go anywhere. Join us here in Indianapolis in just a second.